Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Teresa and today I have a pretty large book haul to share with you guys. Hey guys, like I said, I have a book haul. I really have not been buying books, but somehow I have been acquiring books. I have quite the stack here to show you. I believe I think I counted and it was close to like 35, 36 or something books. So I'm like, my goodness. I believe this is from February or maybe like January to now. So I know that I did a haul a few months ago in February where I talked about like the books I bought on like New Year's Day, but this is like basically everything I've gotten since then. There's no order. I'm just pulling books off the stack as I was taking them off my shelves, and I'll just talk about them. I don't even, I couldn't tell you exactly when I got these books. I'm just gonna tell you about the books. Okay, so first up we have Potiphar's Wife. This was so graciously gifted to me by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. I swear, girl, I mentioned you in like every single one of my videos lately, but like, you're amazing. So this one she actually had personalized for me. She met the author and gave this to me as a gift, which was like the sweetest thing. I am so appreciative of her. I'm actually reading this for my TBR this month in June. So I haven't started yet, but it's definitely up on the docket soon. This one is about, Potiphar's Wife. It's biblical fiction. It's all about the woman who basically attacked Joseph and claimed that he attacked her, got him sent to prison. It's a whole story. After that, I have an arc. So I enter into Goodreads giveaways. It's like a random pastime of mine. I literally go on like every day or every night before it closes and enter into everything that sounds interesting. And so I do end up winning quite a few books because I literally do this every single day. It's been something I've been doing for the past probably like 5 or 6 years. And it's just a random hobby of mine that I do. And I've actually gotten some pretty good books for it. So this one is The Demon Sword. I don't know how, Asperides? I'm not exactly sure how you would pronounce that one. This is a middle grade. I don't even really know what this is about. It just says a scheming demon sword and a wannabe knight band together on a possibly wicked quest in this fantasy perfect for fans of Diana Wayne Jones and Terry Pratchett. This comes out in July. Oh, this is by Sarah Jean Horowitz. I don't know if I said that. I think it's a middle grade. Maybe it's a YA. Yes, this is a middle grade. Just a fantasy. It kind of is giving me vibes of Shadow of the Fox, because I know there was like a demon sword in that and I really like those books. So this one comes out next month. Hopefully I can read it before that so I can actually leave a review. I have another arc here. This is Even If Everything Ends. This is by Jens Lejustrand. I am awful with names. I apologize. This one came out in May. It says, it is summer and the climate crisis is escalating beyond our worst nightmares, suddenly turning unwitting vacationers into refugees as wildfires rage in the Swedish countryside. I believe that this author is Swedish, so this is like a, non-American, I believe it's translated. Yep. It's translated from Swedish and it's kind of a environmental thriller, maybe-ish. So I'm excited to get this one read as well. You guys, if you've watched my channel for a while, I have I have a problem with acquiring books and not reading them. I'm reading a lot of books. I'm just not reading the books I'm acquiring. So I'm working on that this year. But next up, I have Divine Rivals. This is by Rebecca Ross. And this is, I believe this is the Owl Crate edition? Yes, this is Owl Crate. They have just recently started doing stenciled sprayed edges and they're like stepping up their game. I love it. But here is this edition. It's absolutely gorgeous. See the sprayed edges there. So pretty. There's that, there's that, there's that. If you want to see more, guys, I am going to be posting my unboxing videos soon, so you can check them out there. I'm not going to take much time in here, but the cool thing about this book is it also has a ribbon, so that's fun. This one, to my understanding, I think is sort of dark academia. Maybe, I can't quite remember. The two young rival journalists, if you know, it's not dark academia, Find love through a magical connection. They must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. So that is what this one is about, briefly. I have another one here that I won in a Goodreads giveaway. This is You Can Hide by Rebecca Zanetti. This is book 2 in the Laura Snow thriller. I haven't read book 1 yet. I don't own book 1 yet, so I do want to get that read. Obviously get that before I read this one by an FBI profiler. That's really all I know, but the first one sounded really good, so I actually entered into the first and second one. I won the second one, so hey, you know. And now I gotta go buy the first one. My latest Goodreads win that I have is The House of Lincoln. This is by Nancy Horan, and this is basically a historical fiction about Lincoln, President Lincoln. It's a sweeping historical novel which tells the story of Abraham Lincoln's ascendance from rumpled lawyer to U.S. president to the great emancipator through the eyes of a young immigrant who arrives in Lincoln's home of Springfield from Madeira, Portugal. So it's about a Portuguese immigrant back in the time of Lincoln. And this is the end papers. They're absolutely beautiful. This is just a regular book, nothing special about it besides obviously those end papers are gorgeous. But this one sounds really good. I am really interested in, I don't read a lot of historical fiction, but I do really love historical fiction set in the Civil War era. So learning about this kind of more about President Lincoln will be pretty interesting, I think. I have another book that was gifted to me. This is the other lady that I mention in my videos all the time. This is Single Light by Tosca. This was gifted to me by Chrissy from Chrissy's Purple Library. So Chrissy and Katie are like, I don't know, you guys are amazing. You have blessed me so much. So of course I have to shout you out. This is book 2. Actually, this is the last. It's a duology. Basically, it is a like post-apocalyptic dystopian type story. The first one, what was the first one called? I don't even remember. The Line Between, yeah. Is about a woman who escapes a doomsday cult to find out that this doomsday cult actually predicted the truth and doomsday is upon us. So it's pretty good. I really love the first one. This is the follow-up, the sequel, so I'm excited to see where the story goes. I have a book of the month book, The Lone Woman by Victor Lavelle. So I am not sure on this one. This one is supposedly a horror. I'm very picky with my horror reads. I am not the biggest fan of horror. It really depends on what the story is. I mean, I'm very picky. This one, it just says a woman with a past, a mysterious trunk, a town on the edge of nowhere, and a bracing new vision of the American West. So I love Westerns. I actually don't think I've ever read an actual like Western book, but I love Western movies. I love that time period. I myself am like a country girl at heart. I, you know, cannot wait to get married to my boyfriend and start our own farm. And yeah, it's great. So this is A Lone Woman. I really haven't heard much about this book. I don't know. I really do not like sexual content in my books, especially like horror, because usually it gets pretty graphic and gross. Yeah, so if that's in here, if you've read these books, let me know like what you guys think, but let me know if this has sexual content in it, like explicit stuff, because I'm probably gonna unhaul it if that's the case. But it was like the one that seemed interesting for the month of March. It's the one I got. Another arc that I received from Goodreads is the Niger Wives. It's about Nigerian women. The twisty and electrifying debut novel about a young woman who goes missing in Lagos, Nigeria, and her estranged auntie who will stop at nothing to find the truth is perfect for the fans of The Last Thing He Told Me and My Sister, the Serial Killer. So it's just about like women marrying rich Nigerian men, and apparently she goes missing. So there's going to be a lot of, I feel like there's going to be a lot of like juicy stuff in this book. Again, this is another one that might have sexual content. If that's the case, I will go ahead and pass it up. But this one came out in May as well. Okay, then I have 2 copies of the same book because I got Fairy Loot edition and I got the Owl Crate edition. Now I'm no longer doing Fairy Loot, I just can't afford it. I was doing their box only, and as much as I think their books are beautiful, I really prefer Owl Crate, so I had to forego my Fairy Loot subscription, unfortunately. But before I did that, this was the last book I received, and that was Silver in the Bone by Alexander Bracken. And I'm so excited for this book, you guys. so excited for this book because Alexandra Bracken wrote Lore, which I read a few months ago, which was, did I read it a few months ago or did I read it last year? I think I read it a few months ago. I can't quite remember, but I loved it. It was amazing. And this is a King Arthur inspired story. I love King Arthur stuff. I actually took an Arthurian Legends class in college. So yes, it's right up my alley. I really liked her writing. This is the cover for the Fairy Loot edition. Look at that spine, isn't that awesome? You have the back, but the most amazing thing, guys, look at the beautifulness that is these stenciled or sprayed edges, whatever the heck they're called. And then it's just so pretty. Really quickly, I will show you the under the dust jacket or the end pages. There's that on that side, that on that side, and then the absolute stunning hardback. And it's like that really soft matte. It's just, I love it so much. So there's that, and I don't believe, yeah, there's no artwork. So that is the Fairy Loot edition. Next up, I will show you the Owl Crate edition. Here we have the Owl Crate edition. So obviously you can see a completely redesigned cover. I believe Fairy Loot, they just changed up the colors a little bit, but this is completely redesigned. We have gorgeous gilded edges, the silver, beautiful. Here's our spine. And here is the back. We'll take off the dust jacket. Another very beautiful, but very different vibes, printed hardback. So I'm excited to see what this book is about because these two editions have very different vibes as far as the artwork goes. Here is the absolute stunning in papers. I believe it's the same way on both. Yeah, it's the same on both sides. And of course, it's signed. The other one is signed as well. I forgot to show you. And then on the Owl Crate edition, we do have under the dust jacket artwork, which of course is super pretty. Like I said, completely different vibes. So I'm curious to see which artist kind of captured the vibes of this book better, Fairy Loot's artist or Owl Crate's artist. A few months ago, I went around town, my town, and just discovered some free little libraries, and I got some books from there. One of the books that I found was Bossy Pants by Tina Fey. I really like Tina Fey. I think she is a great comedian. She cracks me up. I watched her on Saturday Night Live. Like that was kind of like my era when I was really into Saturday Night Live with Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. Oh my gosh, I can picture the dudes in my head, but I can't think of their names. Anyways, I loved this era of SNL. So I really like her a lot. And yeah, I just found this in a little free library. This is her memoir, I believe. Next one is Children of the Black Glass by Anthony Peckham. This is another ARC that I won in Goodreads. This one is another middle grade. It's polar fantasy. They've always lived on this icy mountaintop. I guess they're brother and sister. Their father mines an item of great rarity, and then he's injured and they have to go to the town to get medicine, and there's a lot of stuff. There's like magic and sorcery and all sorts of stuff, but it sounded pretty good. So I gotta read this one as well. This came out in March of this year. As you'll see, I'm awful at reading ARCs. If you guys are like new or you don't know, like this may be your first video you're seeing of me, I actually have a lot of difficulty reading physical books, even though yes, I own a lot of physical books. I'm a book collector, okay? It makes me happy. Don't come for me. I have a lot of physical books, but I have difficulty reading physical books. I have a cognitive issue where I struggle, so audiobooks are kind of like my thing. And unless I can find an audiobook, especially like it's an ARC, it's difficult for me to get to it. I'm trying to get better at that, or not putting it in for ARCs, because I know obviously the point of ARCs is to get it in front of readers to get early reviews. And so I don't want to take that away from the author. And you know, where it could go to somebody else could have won it and then gave the review that is meant to with the ARC. So from kind of here on out, you'll see I think I might have a couple more, but basically from here on out, I'm being really picky about, you know, the ARCs that I apply for, because I don't, like I said, I don't want to be that person that just hoards it and then doesn't get the review when they could have got it to somebody else, because I know how important that is for authors. So anyways, this one, I will hopefully get this read soon, because it did come out a couple months ago, and it sounds pretty good. My last book of the month book that I actually received was The Only Survivors by Megan Miranda. This was April's book. I did not buy May or June's books. Hopefully I'll be able to pick it back up again. So that is the plan, but I really need to get reading the books I have on my shelves before I start bringing more in. It's a problem. I know a lot of you have this problem too, so like, you know, I know I'm not alone in here. This one, honestly, I don't even remember. 7 hours in the past, 7 days in the present, 7 survivors remaining. Who would you say? I think this is about a group of friends who, like, back in the past, one of their friend group died, and then they have to come back together for some reason, and it's all coming back, and, like, secrets are coming out. I love Megan Miranda. She is a kind of mystery thriller writer. I have loved every single one of her books that I've read. So when I saw this one on the list, it was not even a question. I went ahead and picked this one up. Okay, I have a few more arcs. Like I said, guys, going forward, I'm going to be way more picky with, if at all, if I put in for arcs, because I really just don't want to be that person, which obviously I am that person. So I'm trying to change. So just, you know, have grace. But the next arc that I received was Before She Finds Me. This is by Heather Chavez. This came out, actually it comes out this month. So maybe I might have time to read this month and see if I can get a review up. This one is, it just says, in this shocking thriller, 2 unlikely mothers race to uncover the truth, even if it becomes clear that the truth will destroy one of their families. Yeah, I don't really know much more. Obviously, like when I apply for these books or when I put in the giveaway, I know a little bit more about them so that, you know, obviously they sound interesting to me at the time. I wouldn't put in for the giveaway. But yes, interesting cover. So it's supposed to be a thriller about mothers. I will hopefully get this read soon so I can leave a review and I'll let y'all know what I think. Now I have another arc that actually has not come out yet, so I'm safe on this one, and I'm specifically waiting to read this book for a specific like kind of project that I want to do, and that is Whale Fall by Daniel Cross. This book, look at this book. Sorry about the shine. I'm trying to hold it in a way that doesn't get the shine on it, but this is about a man who is swallowed by a sperm whale. Need I say more? The Martian meets 127 hours in this action-adventure thriller about a scuba diver who's been swallowed by an 80-foot, 60-ton sperm whale and has only 1 hour to escape before his oxygen runs out. I believe there is also, you're dealing with father-son drama relationships in here as well, from what I have kind of seen and in the reviews or in like the description. This is interesting because you have like dates and then PSI, which is how much air he has left. So this looks like it'll be dual timeline because we got, or multiple timelines because you got different dates. And then you're kind of counting down the hours with him, or counting down the minutes, I guess, and his oxygen levels. So, man, it sounds really, really good. Definitely makes me think of Jonah from the Bible, who was swallowed by a whale or big fish. There's actually, so I'm going to nerd out for a second here. There's actually scientists or biblical scholars that believe that a sperm whale very well could have been the whale that swallowed Jonah. So that'll be kind of interesting to read this book and see what this author's take on. Obviously this isn't biblical or anything, but just a very scary story, a very creepy story. I do not know how to swim, and so as much as I am fascinated by the ocean and fascinated by its creatures, it scares the crap out of me because I can't swim. So the thought of being eaten alive, oh yeah, I'm excited to get to this one. But like I said, I'm saving this one for a project, so I will get to this one. It'll just be a little bit later in the year. My next arc that I have, you guys, let's see, when did this come out? For 2023. So in April, I am actually reading this one as part of my reading through my ancestry challenge, Irish edition. This is There Will Be Fire by Rory Carroll. This is Margaret Thatcher, the IRA, and 2 Minutes That Changed History. A race against the clock narrative that finally illuminates a history-changing event, the IRA's attempt to assassinate Margaret Thatcher and the epic manhunt that followed. So this is a non-fiction. I believe the author is a he's a journalist, and so I guess it's just kind of a story. It's got some photos in here. Again, just talking about what I said, the attempt on her life. Should be a pretty interesting read. I have another book that I found in a I have another book that I found in a free little library. That book is The Way It Should Be by Christina Susan Nelson. This is a Christian fiction. I believe this is like a contemporary where these two sisters basically have to come together. They're twins, but they have a very estranged relationship. I am normally not the biggest fan of contemporary, but this one, it just, I don't know, I like sister stories, so I picked this one up. I mean, it was free, it was a little library. If I don't like it, I'll just put it in another library for someone else can go ahead and grab it, but it sounded interesting, so we will see if I like this one or not. Another free little library find is Snakeskin Road by James Brazil. I'm so sorry. I can like barely pronounce my own name correctly, okay? Don't expect me to pronounce other people's names correctly. In this powerful and moving new novel, a woman begins a harrowing journey of survival along a passage of terror and hope. So this is a post-apocalyptic story. The catastrophic climate changes that transform the Southeast into a vast inhospitable desert have left its desperate inhabitants with no choice but indentured servitude. And I believe it's this woman who is trying to, a pilgrimage across the countryside. It's giving me, what is it? Walking Dead vibes, but minus the zombies. Or maybe like Mad Max vibes? I don't know. This one though has really low ratings on Goodreads. I normally don't care about what Goodreads says because I don't always agree with it, but I'm a little hesitant going into this one because, apocalyptic masterpiece that will keep any reader on edge this is Donald Ray Pollock, author of Knocksmith. No idea who that is, but apparently he liked this book, so that's that one. Next up I have a Owl Crate book. Again, you guys, if you want more in-depth look at the Owl Crate books, I will be posting my Owl Crate videos soon. I have been filming every single time I unbox. I just haven't posted in a long time. So I'm working on those, getting those edited, and they should hopefully be up soon. Here we have Midnight Strikes by Zeba Sanchez, I think. Again, I don't know. Isn't this a gorgeous book though? Which way does it go? Nope, there we go. And then it's got these beautiful gold edges. Here are the stunning in papers, just stunning, and the, again, signed. Owl Crate's doing this new thing now where they start including the author letter in the book, which I think is fantastic, so way to go, Owl Crate. This one, honestly, I don't remember what this is about. I think this is kind of steampunky, maybe. That's like the hard thing about these special editions like this, is it doesn't necessarily tell you what the book's about. It's like time travel, I think. It looks like it has, I mean, Midnight Strikes, maybe Cinderella inspired, I don't know. But I believe it takes place in London. Time travel, fantastical, sci-fi-y, maybe steampunk Cinderella, I don't really know, but that's this one. Then I have an absolutely stunning fairy loot book. Spice Road. This is by Maya Ibrahim. But isn't that just a beautiful cover? But you guys, look at the edges. Look at these edges. This is a gorgeous copy. So there is that. I'm gonna take off the dust jacket because the book itself is even more stunning. I mean, look at that. With these, it's so pretty. And here are the end papers. Just absolutely beautiful. Whoever controls the spice controls the kingdom itself. I believe this one it's a fantasy. I believe it is YA because I had their YA. Oh, and did I show you this one actually has reverse dust jacket, but of course I like this one better. That is why it is showing. And this one is Indian, I think, inspired, or Middle Eastern of some design. I know that the Spice Road was a real thing in history, so I know this is obviously a fantasy. I'm curious to see what this one is about and how the author weaves in historical events into this book. Next is another fairy loot that I was super excited for. This is Welcome to the City of Nightmares by Rebecca Schaefer. And you want to know the most exciting thing about this when I saw this, that I was just like, please, let me read this book now. You guys see that? See that right there? That is a pterodactyl. Okay? A pterodactyl. Y'all know how much I love dinosaurs. I even have, where is she at? My little Ellie Sattler here from Jurassic Park. I don't think you can see him, but Owen Grady is over there. I love dinosaurs. Look at these edges, guys. Look at these edges. There's a pterodactyl. It's just this beautiful, like, ombre with speckles all the way down. But with a pterodactyl, is that not just awesome? And then, you know, of course, signed by the author. We have these really cool end papers here, end pages. Here is the under the dust jacket, and of course, our beautiful pterodactyl. And then the back. This one sounds really good. Ever since her sister became a man-eating spider and slaughtered her way through town, 19-year-old Ness has been terrified. Terrified of some other nightmare murdering her, and terrified of ending up like her sister. Because in Newham, the city that never sleeps, dreaming means you wake up as your worst fear. So pretty interesting kind of sci-fi type of story. This was actually on my most anticipated releases of the year for this year. So when I received it, I was excited, and then I found out, like, obviously it has dinosaur artwork on it. So of course, that makes me even more happy. I believe this is my last special edition that I need to haul for you guys, and that is Revel by Lissa Maya Smith. This gives me 20s circus vibes. Like, look at that cover. Here's the spine. Here's the back. We have this absolutely stunning purple foiling under the cover, spine, back. Purple's my favorite color, so like, so exciting. This one just has normal edges, but then we got our end papers here. The front says, love is the curse, not magic, and love is its own sort of magic. Interesting dichotomy there. Oh, and then we have under the dust jacket art as well. So this one, it says, on an island of Charmant, magic flows like bootlegged champagne and fantasies can be bought for a price of a gemstone. So yeah, I believe it's just a fantastical 1920s inspired world that has maybe carnivals or circuses or something. I've never read Night Circus, I've never read Caravel or anything like that. So I don't know if I like this type of story, but there's another one to add to the list to see if I do. Just kidding. I actually have one more special edition I need to show you. The Buried and the Bound by Rochelle Hansen. That's the front. This is the back. Then we will have the gorgeous matte. This is like the best feeling, that matte feeling. There is the hardcover, and here are the end papers. And then, yes, we do have under the dust jacket as well. This is an interesting one because by looking at the original cover, I don't have the original cover to show you, but if you guys look it up, I would never have picked this book up if I saw the original cover. It looks like a book that is just not something that I would read. But if I look at this artwork, this is 100% something that I would read and that I would love. So I don't know what this book is how it's going to be. It's about a hedge witch in Massachusetts. I believe this is like a magical realism type of story, which I'm not really that into magical realism. I prefer just straight up, you know, fantasy. I don't mind urban fantasy, but I want it like super like fantasy. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this one or not. This came from Owl Crate, but it's gorgeous nonetheless. So I will hopefully get around to this soon and see if this is one I'm gonna end up keeping or not. Actually, it kind of matches my aesthetic today too. Okay, we're getting real close to the end. I have 3 books here by an author who has quickly become a favorite, auto buy, must have all her books, and that is Joe Wright. And the books I have are Echo Among the Stones, On the Cliffs of Foxglove Manor, and The Haunting at Bellevant, right? Pontiview Circus. I always want to say that weird. All by Joe Wright. So really quickly, let's go through. I've actually read this one recently. This was a 5-star. Beautiful, beautiful book. I will be talking about it in my May wrap-up. That should be coming fairly soon. So her books are always historical fiction, but dual timeline historical fiction, mysteries in the past, mysteries in the present. Timelines somehow relate to each other, and I like to say that they're questioning paranormal because you very much feel like, is it a ghost? Is it a person? Is it both? We don't know, but her books are great. It is like Christian suspense, and I love her. I think she's great. I think she's a great author. This book heavily deals with the topic of grief. You're dealing with a unsolved, like a cold case. So in the past, it's like the 1940s, and this woman finds her sister murdered, and she's trying to insert herself into the investigation, learn about forensics and that type of thing to help find who killed her sister. And then in the present, you have a woman who has to basically move back home with her grandmother, and you find out that her grandmother has this creepy dollhouse that is like the reenactment of a crime scene. And the granddaughter, who she has to end up taking a job at the local cemetery, and they're trying to restore it because there's been some flooding, and then things start happening. Basically, she realizes that what's happening now is kind of connected to what happens in the past, and someone doesn't want them to figure out what happened. So that's what this one is all about. Then we have On the Cliffs of Foxglove Manor. I have not read this one yet. Foxglove Manor would twist its way into your soul until one day it owned you, and it called to you, and it didn't cease haunting you until you came back. So it takes place in 1885, and then in modern day. As the sinister mysteries of Foxglove Manor haunt 2 women separated by time, they will have to risk it all to banish the past's demons, including their own. So this one is one I need to get to soon because, like I said, I love all of her books so far. And then this one, which I'm actually especially excited for because I just found out that the main character in this has Lyme disease, which I have Lyme disease, and I've never read a book about, you know, someone with that condition before. I guess the author herself also has Lyme disease, so Own Voices. I'm really excited to read this. So this is Welcome to Pontiview Circus, where mischief goes to hide. So it takes place in 1928, and then in the future, or like in nowadays, I guess it looks like the woman nowadays is dealing with the Lyme disease, and she basically finds this old circus train or something, and there's mysteries back then or now, and then it looks like there is a killer at the circus in the 1920s. So I'm excited to get this one read as well. Then I have The Writing Retreat by Julia Bratz. This was April's, this was February's book of the month. I was really excited about this because, I mean, first off, that grain is stunning. I love it. This is about a woman who, or it's about like it says, a writing retreat. It's a book about writers, authors, and I guess there's like this horror author that's putting together this retreat, and these people have to go and they are tasked with writing a book in the amount of time that they're there, and some really crazy stuff starts happening. Unfortunately, I've heard there is some quite sexual stuff in this book, and like I said earlier on, that is not something that I prefer or that I like to read. So I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up or not. This one may have to be an unhaul, which would make me very sad because it's beautiful and I've heard it's a really good thriller. But again, if it has like a lot of explicit sexual stuff in it, this is not something that I'm into. So I don't know how I feel about this one yet. I might give it a try and just kind of see where it goes. Okay guys, we are on the home front. I have the last little stack here. So these first 2 books I want to talk about, these actually, I didn't necessarily haul them. I believe they belong to my mother or maybe my older sister. My brother and I basically helped my dad do a deep clean out of his garage. There was stuff in there from like 20 years ago that just got put in there when we moved to this house and never got touched again. So it was definitely a walk through history, that's for sure. But I found some old books, and I found these two books. Now, I've never heard of this series, never heard of this author. We have book 3 in the Chronicles of Thomas Covenant the Unbeliever, and that is The Power That Preserves by Stephen R. Donaldson. And then I guess this is book 1, but in the follow-up series to this, or the spin-off series to this, which is The Wounded Land, and this is the second Chronicles of Thomas Covenant, book 1. Yeah, just like mass market paperback, high fantasy stories. Literally don't know what any of this is about because this is book 3 and this is the spin-off, but that's the, you know, definitely old. I want to see when these were written real quick because they're giving me 80s vibes. 1980 and 1977 and 1980. So these books are older than I am. This is actually the same. This one is the same age as my boyfriend. That's really funny. Anyways, yeah. I have no idea what these are about, but I found them. I wanted to haul them because I thought they were kind of fun. So I need to like look into these and see if I will end up liking the series or not. And the rest of the books I have to share with you are quite special. They came from my grandparents' house. If you guys have seen a few of my previous videos, you know that recently my grandparents passed away and we ended up doing an estate sale at their home. And these were some of the books. My grandpa, both my grandparents were readers, but my grandpa specifically was a very avid reader. Like, I get my love of reading from him. He always had a book in his hand. He loved historical fiction, war, like espionage, spy type novels, anything that had to do along those lines of politics and that kind of stuff. That's not really what I read, but I do like a few of those stories here and there. So the books that I have to show you, a couple of these are that, and yeah, the rest of these books I got from their place. So the first one is actually a nonfiction, and this is a Christian book. This is My Utmost for His Highest by Oswald Chambers. This is a Christian classic. Really don't know what this is about, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's a devotional. If you look at it, it's got dates and just little things like you read one every day. Yeah, it's a daily devotional. So cool. It's a devotional. My grandma had this. I'm guessing that my grandparents probably went through this book. So I was really special for me to be able to grab this one. All these books are special just because they belong to them. Though this next one I think was actually mine as a kid. But I don't remember reading it, so I'm going to haul it because I still have it on my TBR. That is The Royal Diaries, Cleopatra. Was that 5, 6, the 7th, right? Daughter of Nile, Egypt 57, or Daughter of the Nile, Egypt 57 BC. And this is a Dear America book. So I grew up loving the Dear America books. Oh my gosh, love the Dear America books. They're basically just journal entries from girls of history. This one specifically is all about Cleopatra. So again, like I said, this I think was just an old book of mine as a kid that just somehow got left over at their place. But I don't remember this story, so I took it because it was mine to begin with. So I guess I'm rehauling it. But yeah, it's Cleopatra's Diary, and I've always been fascinated by the story of Cleopatra. So I'm excited to get this one back because like I didn't even know I had it, but yeah. Okay, and then these other ones were most likely they belong to my grandpa. So I have another nonfiction here. This is called Unbroken, a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. It was actually made into a movie. This is by Laura Hildebrand. It's about a delinquent teen who basically discovered his love for running, and he participated in the Berlin Olympics. He became an airman during World War II. It says, when his Army Air Force bomber crashed into the Pacific Ocean against all odds, he survived. Adrift on a foundering life raft. So yes, I think I actually remember seeing that when this movie came out. It's the story of this guy's survival, how he survived in the ocean for a long time, I think. But it's a nonfiction. I do like nonfiction. I do find them quite interesting, so it'd be cool to kind of read his story. And it looks like there's pictures in here. Yeah, we got some interesting pictures and yeah, just World War II kind of history. So for reference, my grandpa was a Korean vet, so he definitely, you know, was interested in that kind of stuff. Then I have a fiction book. This is A Matter of Honor by William C. Hammond. And this one, I believe, is all about the Royal Navy in the early years of the United States. This takes place off the coast of Massachusetts. It's just, I guess, the story of a ship and its crew fighting for American freedom, for from independence from the British Empire. I, again, like I said earlier, am not the biggest historical fiction fan, but I do also really love Revolutionary War time period. So Revolutionary War and Civil War are kind of two of my big time periods that I love as far as American history goes. Again, it's special because it belonged to my grandpa, but I am actually excited to read this one too. One more nonfiction, and that is Empire of the Summer Moon by S.C. Gwynne. Empire of the Summer Moon spans two astonishing stories. The first traces the rise and fall of the Comanches, the most powerful Indian tribe in American history. The second entails one of the most remarkable narratives ever to come out of the Old West, the epic saga of a pioneer woman, Cynthia Ann Parker, who was kidnapped by the Comanches as a 9-year-old girl, and her mixed-blood son, Quanha, who became the last and greatest chief of the Comanches. So another thing that I'm super interested in is Native American culture, Old West, this time of era, this time of this type of history. So yes, this actually was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. When was this book written? 2010. So yeah, just a non-fiction, literally talking about what I told you. But again, belonging to my grandparents makes it that much more special. And you guys, the very last book I have to share with you is also one that was my grandpa's, and that is Collision by Jeff Abbott. I believe this is a spy novel. An innocent businessman, a disgraced spy on the run, forced together with no one to trust but each other, caught where danger and intrigue head for a collision. So yeah, I don't know, spy novel, thriller type thing. Again, like I said, this was the type of novels that my grandpa loved. He was definitely a thriller reader, but again, more of the legal thrillers, more of the spy novels. So while that's not necessarily my favorite type of thriller, like I said, I do enjoy them from time to time. So I am glad that I was able to snag this one as well. Guys, that's it. That is my book haul. That is, I don't even know how many. I'll put the final count in here somewhere. You guys, I lied. I forgot. I did find a couple more books in the garage. So I'm considering myself hauling these because they didn't originally belong to me. They belonged to someone in my family, but now they're mine. And look what I found, you guys. Look what I found. A Star Trek books. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you all don't know, I am huge Trekkie. I am definitely a Next Generation girl. That is girly, is that what people are saying nowadays? That is the era I grew up on, was Next Generation, but of course, I love the originals. This one is a collector's set based on the original scripts. Look how old these are. Like, oh my gosh. So we have the first one, Star Trek 1. This is adapted by James Blish. 7 tales of intergalactic intrigue from the award-winning television series. So we got book 1, book 2, The Ultimate Trip to Worlds Beyond Time. Book 3, 7 eerie excursions based on the TV show. These are so great. Book 4, dazzling exploits by the dynamic crew of the Enterprise. And book 5, more thrilling adventures from the TV show. Look at the covers on these, guys. These are so old. I love them to death. It's interesting though how like the first 3 are white and then the last 2 have the more, you know, oh my gosh, it is a literal box set. This now, I don't even know how much this would cost nowadays. This was probably like pennies back in the day, you know? Let me see when these were written, what year these were written. 1967, and that was when the first one was. Book 5 was written in 1972. 1967 to 1972. I was so excited when I found these. I don't know who they belong to. My dad is not a reader. My mom is though, so I have to ask her because these might have belonged to her. They might have belonged to my older sister, maybe my mom's brother. I have no idea. But like, you guys, is that not just the greatest find ever? So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to read these and find out who they actually originally belonged to. But yes, this is technically the last of the books that I have gotten. That I found, hauled, whatever. Like I said, I have not been buying books really. I mean, really the only books I've been buying are Owl Crate and Fairy Loot. I've canceled my, well, and then Book of the Month, I guess. But I haven't gotten Book of the Month in a while. I haven't gotten Fairy Loot in a while because I canceled that. And then I just have my Owl Crate. But I've got giveaways, I've got free libraries, I've found these, you know, family books, whatever. So that is my, that is my haul, not my unhaul, but this is my haul. These are basically from like, I believe like February to June, as of June 15th. These are all of the books that I've gotten pretty much this year. Obviously there's a couple I got in January, which I already hauled in my previous one, but yeah, this is my basically 2023 haul so far this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know if any of these books either you have read. Well, yeah, if you've read any of them, let me know what you think. I would be super interested to know your thoughts on them. Let me know if any of them sound interesting to you, if you would maybe want to buddy read. I'm looking to do more buddy reads this year, so definitely let me know if there's some of these or any of them are kind of on your radar that you're looking at that you might want to buddy read. Hit me up in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. And yeah, books are just special. I love books. Obviously, like you can tell, I am a collector of books. I am an avid reader too, but I really need to work on reading the books off my own shelves. I utilize my library like none other, but you know, hey, I enjoy collecting books, no shame in that. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Give me a like if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more content, because I have a lot of fun stuff planned for you this summer. I'm really excited. And you guys, I will hope to see you in my next video. Bye!